Why is law of attraction a scam? You are here because you are using law of attraction, law of detachment, law of assumption, and it's not working quite as well as you thought it would, maybe. And I'm here to tell you why it's not working. It's not working because it's a secondary law to an even more important law, the law that changes lives here on the channel. And I'm showing you live results. You can just look in the comments, you can look at my testimonial page. This is how you change your life. There's nothing wrong with the method you're using, but if you don't step back and realize what these laws are really implying, then you're missing out. If you find this missing piece of your journey, on your journey, you can have everything you want. So let's talk about it. There's only one law, and all the other laws are secondary laws. They are subpar laws, they are demi-laws, whatever you would like to call them. They are a marketing trick. They sound good, but they are there to have you focus on using methods instead of using you. They are there to have you using tricks instead of using you. All these tricks, they are fine. All these methods, they are fine. But until you realize what they are there for, you are not doing the thing correctly. So let's start with the law of attraction. The main problem with the law of attraction, and hear me out, is it is implying that if you change, reality will change. And what I am saying is that the problem is that you walk around thinking that you need to change. You don't know God. And when I say God, you can extrapolate that to whatever you think it is. God, Allah, consciousness, source, whatever it is. You think you need to change. You think you're not there yet. And that's the problem. So attracting it is actually very easy if you realize there's nothing to attract. And that will make sense in a few minutes. But law of attraction it implies the need for method. It implies the need for tactics. What if I affirm this? What if I do this? Can I then have it? I'm not worthy of it, but how can I be worthy of it? Right? That's the mantra that is slowly running in your system at the moment. You keep on doing these things, and it's not really working out. It's because we need to get one step deeper than that. Then let's move on to the law of detachment. Like nobody gets a thing by writing a list of what they would not like. Right? So what does it even mean, law of detachment? I don't want it. Should I tell myself I don't want it? Well, there is a hidden equation behind the law of detachment. And that is that you need to know why you can detach. So law of detachment is actually it's a very fine word. It's a very fine sentence. It makes sense to the right people, but for most people, it doesn't make sense. Because they are then like secretly having a desire in the system and trying to hide it. Yeah, I cannot show that I want it. Right? You can want it, and you can want something into existence. The people that is claiming using law of detachment, they want what they have. So it's not a matter of, okay, let me find new things I want. That is actually the opposite of what I want. You are detaching from needing it in the outside world because you know the truth. And the truth is that you can get to a point where you know reality creation so well that you create it from the inside out. And when you do that, you stop looking. And that is true detachment. You stop looking for it outside because you realize it's always a reflection. So in that moment where, let me check, you can check yourself and see, so why am I checking? Because I lost it. Where did I lose it? Inside. It's always a reflection of your inside world that is your outside world. And we won't talk a lot about that in this video, but that's how reality is created. Then, law of assumption. it really depends what you put to the word assumption, assuming something to be true, whether or not that law makes sense. Because I love to use that word. But assuming something, for most people it is, I can believe it without proof. I will try to believe it without proof. But if you assume a role of something, you take on that role. You align with that power needed in that situation. So there's actually two definitions of assuming. And it's that definition you need to take. You do not need to build like this mental representation of something that you do not believe in. You are taking on that reality as if it's true, because it is true. So the no proof part is bullshit, because the proof is reality. What you see is proof of your entire internal reality. So if it's not showing, that's proof of your current reality inside. So when you assume something to be true, you don't need proof. You are the proof. You have the proof in that moment of assumption, because that's the proof of reality creation. The proof is you knowing it to be true. Like outside world is merely a reflection. So the final touch on law of assumption is, don't go believing that, yeah, but I'm trying to believe in the law of assumption. I'm looking for proof. I know how that works. And I know that you like to do it, and it's fine seeing proof, because proof will show. But that is reflection. The proof that it works is that everything is always according to your beliefs. You will have it in accordance with your beliefs. You are never surprised, as I always say in these videos. Everything in your outside reality is always reflecting your inside reality. Maybe not at this moment, but then in a previous moment. So the proof is you. What I think you should call the law instead, to get a step above these methods, is the law of knowing, the law of all, or the law of God, depending on your belief system. Because it's not a matter of detaching from something that you would really like. It's not a matter of attracting something you would really like. It's not a matter of assuming something to be what you would really like. It's about knowing it to be true. It is said in scripture, in biblical scripture, in Quranic scripture, in all religions, it is said that God will act in accordance with your belief system. As I am, as my servant thinks I am. Right. And that's why the most righteous person, Job, had a terrible life, because he believed that was what God gave him. So when you think you're going to get punished, that's what you know to be true. And that's a huge liberation, because then you can never go wrong. You're never assuming the wrong thing. You're never attracting the wrong thing. You're never detaching not enough, because you can always in that moment check yourself. What do I know to be true in this moment? And then you can ask yourself, so now I'm doubting reality. So now I know doubt to be true. Now I'm checking this. Okay, so now I know the old amount in my bank account to be true. And what I mean by the law of knowing is that when you start diving into how reality is created, you realize that everything in this 3D reality, because we have 3 dimensions, is created somewhere else in a different dimension. Some would say in imagination. Nevillegoddard would say that. Some would say it's created in source. Joe Dispenza would say that. Some would say it's created by God, by consciousness. Reality is that you can create it by going inside, by spending a little bit more time every day with closed eyes in imagination, watching reality on the factory of creation. Everything you're looking at is already created. Where is it being created? In here. So now it's your job to get to know yourself. From the first point of creation, the factory, inside, where you every morning close your eyes, maybe 5 times a day, 3 times a day, but start with every morning and every night. When you fall asleep and just when you wake up. Closed eyes, what is it that you know to be true? You see it. And then you tell yourself, I know this to be true. And I know that my outside reality is dying as we speak. It's renewing every second, every millisecond, every nanosecond. Renewal. That means that everything that is here is being changed. The image is changing. Right? And as you know something to be true, you are including it in this image. You're sending the right vibration. You are vibrationally aligned with that. So there's no more assumption, there's no more detachment. There's just, what do I know to be true in this moment? I only have this moment. I was never in the past. I was never in the future. I was always in the present. What do I know to be true right now? In the 4th dimension, 5th dimension, whatever we want to call it. When I step back from watching what has already been created and judging that, when I step back and I can just choose freely from my own repertoire of places I can move my consciousness to. What will I move it to? What do I choose to be? Right? Will I become great at something? Will I allow myself to feel love at this moment? Will I allow myself to feel rich at this moment? It's so effing powerful when you just know something to be true. Then that translates into you don't need to worry about anything. Because every action in that knowing is aligned action. It's like a compass setting you straight for the path of God. Consciousness, right? Whatever you believe in. In that knowing, the step you take is in the direction of the knowing. In that doubt, every step you take is in the direction of that doubt. So you can see how that works out. That it's always alignment before action. It is spending more time in your internal environment. It is actually working less, but working more aligned. Spending more time getting to know yourself. What is this 5% of my conscious awareness? But also, what is this 95% of my subconscious? What is my body doing? Am I letting my knowing about my reality translating into a mental attitude? And a mental attitude is also a physical attitude. Am I going to conquer the world, my world today? Am I going to conquer my health issue? Am I going to conquer my love, my relationships? Am I in charge? Because most people, when they start manifesting, they will stop right about mental attitude. They will know something to be true intellectually, but the system will not believe it. That's why people say, yeah, I've spent 30 years in this and it's not working. Well, check yourself. Look at what you're doing. If you did believe also in your system, what would you do? And you will feel the difference in your system when you just start acting in accordance with your belief. It's 2 different worlds, just telling yourself that you believe stuff and then really spending so much time in your environment internally that it starts translating. That is what Napoleon Hill tells you when he says that it's about adopting the right mental attitude. I'm sorry for that. I'm not so good at. I should practice more speaking like him because it's very powerful. Or Earl Nightingale. Maybe I could speak like him. Okay, enough about that. But it's really about developing that mental attitude that your system also recognizes what to do. And that's why surface level, knowing about this, watching YouTube videos won't do the trick. Employ it in your life today. Know it to be true, also in your system. Spend more time in it. Collapse those waves into particles in the 4D, 5th dimension, whatever you believe in, whatever you call it. Spend more time internally developing that confidence You never lost it. It was never not yours. It's not, I can't believe in that story, because that's also knowing something to be true. It's also perception. So every little story you can tell me and tell your parents and tell your friends about why you can't succeed, it's knowing something to be true. It's perception. You're picking that. You're deciding it. Am I missing something? Something. Everything you want, know it to be true internally. Accept it. Decide it. And I know that some of you will say it's not as easy as you say it is, Chris. But when you decide one day that it is easy, you will realize the powerful change you just made. And you will look back at your life and ask yourself, why did I not decide a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 10 years ago? It's a huge difference mentally. It's that final step. It's that decision. Okay, I can choose my life. Because my life experience is mostly internal representation. It's perception. And that is being reflected in the outside world. So if you want to be rich, start knowing yourself to be rich. If you want to be healthy, start knowing yourself to be healthy. And if you want love, start recognizing your own love. And then let it affect your entire world. Let it wash you over. Renew yourself. Become something new. Die to your old sins. Forgive yourself. And forgiving yourself is what it really means is that I have spent so much time out of alignment, believing something to be true that was not true. We will talk more about that in another YouTube video, but these negative emotions you get when you feel doubt, when you feel anxious, it's actually a letter to you from God, consciousness, source, whatever it is, your inner being. A letter telling you, hey, right now you believe something that I don't believe in. Now you believe something that is not true. When you feel doubt and that feels bad in your system, recognize, okay, it's a messenger. It's a letter to me telling me that emotion does not belong in me. It's not mine. I'm incorrect. I'm assuming falsely in this moment. Let it wash you over. Really. Let it take you by storm. Enjoy it. Spend more time. Just tonight after watching this video, or just 5 minutes after watching this video, close your eyes and just know something to be true. Feel it in every cell of your body. Appreciate it. Be thankful for it. And one final thing. Get out of here. Bye.